not entitled to treatment, did not withstand scrutiny and has not withstood scrutiny. And today I can report that I think nearly all pediatric endocrinologists accept that view, that the relevant question is not whether you have a disease or not, or whether we know the mechanism of your short stature, or whether it's treatment or enhancement. The question is, do you have a problem, a serious problem, that medicine can help with a drug that's reasonably safe and effective? And if the answer is yes, then it's appropriate for doctors to prescribe that drug and for parents to seek it. And so for all children who are short, regardless of whether we know whether they have a disease or not, or what the definition of disease is, the question is not whether it's treatment or enhancement. The question is, do they have a disability that can be helped in a way that's reasonably safe? One last observation. The implications of this for genetic therapy are going to be much more far-reaching. That is, we all hope and expect that someday in our lifetimes, perhaps, gene therapy will be possible, not just for correcting known diseases, replacing the defect in cystic fibrosis or Tay-Sachs disease or Huntington's disease or whatever, in a way that's safe and reasonably accessible and inexpensive, but that gene therapy will be possible for what's called enhancing human characteristics. Now, if somebody, let's suppose, to take the most colorful example, suppose a gene were found for IQ. Suppose there were a gene that didn't add inches onto your adult height, but added points onto your final IQ. And suppose a child with who we knew had a predictable IQ of 75, but we didn't know why. We had no idea what the explanation of this child's mild retardation was, as is the case with much of mental retardation. But suppose that were the case, that the child had we could see at age 3, 4, and 5 that his projected IQ was going to be in the 75 range. And suppose there were a gene product or a gene that we could insert through some vector that would improve his IQ by 10 points or 20 points and get him or her into the normal opportunity range so that he or she could compete for the normal kinds of education and jobs that we all value. Would we say, well, he doesn't have a disease, so it's immoral to do it? If he had some disease, if he had Down syndrome, then it would be okay. Or if he had Tay-Sachs disease, then it would be okay. But if we don't understand the mechanism of the retardation, then it's just enhancement. This is his God-given state, is to be retarded. Sorry, Mrs. Jones, your child stays retarded. This would be as incoherent as telling the mother of the child with idiopathic short stature, sorry, Mrs. Jones, we know your son's only going to grow up to be 4'10". And yes, we could do something about it, but he doesn't have any board-certified disease that we can identify. So this is just enhancement, and he's not entitled to it. That claim is no longer made, and correctly so. And it would be, I think, equally inconsistent.